Alright, for today, for English 2, we are going to look at the 10 most important rules for expository essays. This was created by Karen Yoder, and it's repurposed for my class. So let's begin. So first of all, thou shall. So we have 10 thoughts, rules, concepts for you to use on your expository essays. Number 1, you'll need to plan for 10 full minutes. So that means creating an outline. Yes, the dreaded outline. The first thing you'll have to do, of course, is read all aspects of the prompt. So you'll have to read all of those, decide how are you going to start your essay, what examples you're going to be using, all that good stuff, and how you're going to end it. But the key thing is you're working on an outline for the first 10 minutes before you even bother writing for me. How do you do that? Well, first of all, we'll need to interpret the prompt. So going back right over here, you notice the prompt says, write an explanation about how a sport or activity can teach life lessons to those who participate in it. So moving back over here. Alright, so looking back over here, the first thing you're going to be doing while creating your outline is interpreting the prompt. So, as we've shown from over there, so we got to write an explanation about how a sport or activity can teach life lessons. So we got to think of a sport or activity that we've decided that we like, and how it teaches life lessons. So those are our two things right there. How does it teach it? Not what, but how. Alright, so next up, before we even start really focusing on our thesis statement, we should provide a hook, which is a vivid attention grabber. Now there's two good types of hooks that you can use for your essay, for expository essay. You can do one, the rhetorical question. Or two, you can use an anecdote. A rhetorical question is a question that does not require an answer. The answer is obvious. An anecdote is a very short story. So for ours, let's see here. So we're over here planning our essay and we're trying to think of a good hook. So we've decided on to do a rhetorical question. So we've decided on this. Have you ever experienced dealing with life decisions in football? Yes, I know, it's not that great of a hook, but we'll go along with it for the purpose of this essay. So we've got our rhetorical question. Then moving on, next up we need to create the thesis by restating the prompt. So the prompt says, write an explanation about how a sport or activity can teach life lessons to those who participate in it. So we're restating the prompt. So the sport or activity, we've chosen football, can teach life lessons. So we are restating the prompt, can teach life lessons by, and then we provide our thoughts. For the sake of this one, by forcing players to focus, and by hard work. So football can teach life lessons by forcing players to focus and by hard work. So there's our thesis statement. Alright, number 5. You need to prepare topic sentences. So we're still in our outline. So we're still deciding how we're going to do this. Well, we've given over here 2 points that we need to focus on through our thesis. So we need to have 2 topics we need to take care of. We need to talk about forcing players to focus and we need to talk about hard work. Whoops. So hard work. So those are going to be what our 2 topic sentences will be about. Now, moving on. So we have 2. So therefore, you might have 2 paragraph phrases here. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to give 2 full paragraphs, but you're going to have 2 main ideas you're going to have to talk about here. Alright, next up. You must always use the present tense. So use present tense in your writing. The only time you will not use this, only time, is when you are giving examples from personal life. So personal experience. That was from the past, so you'll have to utilize past tense verbs. Alright, moving on. Number 7, you'll need to provide examples for your thesis. So we've gotten our force players to focus and hard work. So we need to think of personal examples, or you can use examples from the text. So you can use personal experience, or if you've read it in a book or seen it in a movie or something, you can use examples from other stories. If you're going to use examples from other stories, you must also state what that story was called and who the author or creator was. So unless you're absolutely sure, don't use this one. So here's a good example for this. So for forcing players to focus, you have personal experience about a coach encouraging you to keep going by never losing your focus. So that means staying on top of tasks and everything. For the hard work, you can easily give a personal example that hard work is able to teach you how to endure. So you'll be able to have stronger endurance, all that good stuff. Next up, while we're into our conclusion, so intro, body, now we're into conclusion, you need to summarize key points. So it's rephrasing your key ideas. So look at your topic sentences to decide how you're going to do this. And that leads into restating your thesis by answering so what. If I only read your conclusion, what's so important about your paper? So what that you can, as football teaches you life lessons through forcing players to focus and hard work. It is great because football will prepare you for tough experiences in life. So there's our restatement there. Alright, finally, spend 5 to 7 minutes revising. So you spent 10 minutes up to 10 minutes doing the outline, and then you spend 5 to 7 minutes after you finish writing to revise. So check for spelling, grammar, and mechanical errors. So make sure that all your sentences are proper. There's no run-ons. Make sure that everything that you have written down is spelled correctly. If you're not sure, then better grab that dictionary. Alright, so real quick, we're going to look at things that you should never do. There's 9 things you should never do. Number 1 is waste time. As soon as you get the prompt, start working on it immediately. Don't stare blankly into space. Begin creating that outline. Number 2, tell a literary story. Exposition is you're giving an example or providing points about a key idea. You're not giving me a story. Now you can use examples, personal examples, but make sure it doesn't turn into a full-fledged story. Number 3, write a boring introduction. And we'll go into more about hook statements later on, so don't freak out over that just yet. Number 4, use too many examples. You probably want to keep it at 2. 2 is your max. Whoops. Number 5, give vague details. You need to be as specific as possible. And I should probably spell vague right. Number 6, write in the past tense. You should not be doing that except for, and I told you what the exemption is. Number 7, you should not write fragments. Make sure all your sentences are complete. Number 8, you should not refuse to spend time editing your paper. If you have free time, you better be editing. Finally, number 9, never give up. Don't freak out over these things. I'm confident that you'll be able to handle it. But you got to parse it out. You got to focus on one thing at a time. So start with the outline. Start with your hook statement. Next, your thesis. All that good stuff. So in conclusion, there are 10 lessons, thoughts, ideas, whatever, that you must utilize for all of your expository essays. There's 9 things you should never do. And we've gone over all of them. The 10 are: plan for 10 minutes, interpret the prompt before writing, create a hook, create the thesis by restating the prompt, prepare topic sentences, use the present tense, summarize key points in your conclusion, provide examples for your thesis using personal examples or examples from the text, restate your thesis by asking the question, so what, and spend 5 to 7 minutes revising your essay. You should never waste time, tell a literary story, write a boring introduction, use too many examples, give vague details, write in the past tense, write fragments, refuse to spend time editing your paper, or give up. Alright, so we'll be using these for a quick assignment on Tuesday along with your quiz, so I'll see you then.